Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Joe and Martin Show. Today I'm here with Vince Spano, so can you introduce yourself?
How's it going, you guys? My name is Vince.
So we were talking a little bit about your background in starting, like just getting into the music scene in general. You mentioned you started off in high school, I believe, right?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, specifically my senior year of high school, I got together with a whole bunch of friends who I had in school. I had met first my guitarist, his name was David, and we started playing just shows together, kind of just acoustic. It was just me, and then he was just playing leads. And we started playing like at Wessel and all that. And it wasn't until really my senior year of high school where I met like a bassist, and we met a drummer, a pianist, and then the bassist and the drummer were still, they still play with me today, Dan and AB and George, who's another one of my drummers. And at the time we had a band, we put a band together. It took us a little bit to get going, but we put a band together called Creekwood. And we were just playing shows all throughout Brownsville, throughout Harlingen a little bit. Played a couple of shows in McAllen as well. But it was kind of the worst time possible because we started in my senior year, which was like 2019 to 2020. So we caught like right. We caught COVID, stopped us in the tracks immediately. We just had to stop playing shows and everything. And I feel like we never quite recovered after that. We were never able to really pick up the steam as a band. And I think just after a little bit of time and a little bit of like, development in my personal lives and our personal lives, I kind of realized that, if I really wanted to do this whole music thing, I had to push forward no matter what. And so I ended up moving out of the Valley and just going as a solo musician. But I still definitely, like, everybody in the band is still some of my best friends of all time, and we still always play together as well. So it was all good. It was just mainly like I really wanted to take this to the next step. And in order to do that, I had to, make some different moves.
And when you moved to Austin, how did you like reconfigure life? Like you had to start from scratch, obviously. How did you go from just coming from the Valley, going to Austin, and then just rebuilding everything all over again?
It was tough. I mean, it was definitely tough because I didn't know. I feel like I knew like one friend in Austin. And when I first got there, I just kind of crashed at his couch and I was like, I'm just going to figure things out, see what I was going to do. I got like some lame job as like a car salesman.
Oh, how was that?
Dude, I don't know, man. I had never had a job like that before. So I just walked in, they hired me like on the spot. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm starting tomorrow. I don't know. And it was weird, man. I couldn't really figure it out.
You a good salesman or no?
No, bro. No. I maybe sold like one car out of like the whole time that I was there. But I came in and I was really just focused on meeting people. So it was really just, I had to go back to like my acoustic days and it would just be me and my acoustic guitar just playing open mics every night in Austin. And then slowly I started, gaining a couple of people who like wanted to come out and see some shows. And I started meeting some people who were like, some drummers here and there, some bassists. And little by little, I think it really took me about a solid year to get back to, playing rock music, playing full band like shows, and, recording new music. I feel like that was one of my first like goals was to go there, meet some people and start recording. So I immediately just dove right into that, and I spent about a year in the studio, just recording a bunch of new music.
And what kind of acoustic music do you do? Because it's one thing you say you do rock music as a band, but what do you do acoustically?
So kind of what I do acoustically, it's definitely changed a lot throughout the years. My first like tape that I put out, it was just like a demo tape that I did while we were in COVID. And that was just a bunch of like acoustic pop music. And that was good for what it was at the time. But I definitely think I've evolved music wise since then, not only in like the full on rock band, but even acoustically, I think the music that I write, when it's just me and the acoustic, it's
Is there any bands you would be able to be compared yourself to?
like full on band or acoustically.
Well, I guess both. Like acoustically, like who would you be compared to?
Full on band, I think we might have a little bit of a Foo Fighters style, just because I definitely take a lot of inspiration from them. They're a huge inspiration for me. Bands like The Strokes, like Catfish and The Bottlemen. Acoustically, I take a lot of inspiration from like John Mayer, you know. But I think when it comes down to it, I don't think I write all of my songs originally on the acoustic. And then I just transpose, like, or I start playing them with the full band, and it either turns into a full band thing or it stays like an acoustic project. But I think the foundation of the song that I write is pretty much the same, whether it's acoustic or live band. I think it's just I focus a lot on, I guess, being really honest and telling a story. And that story may be a little bit, you know, introspective and a little quieter, or it may be just loud and, you know, having fun.
And when you're writing these songs, how do you determine which stories are worth telling?
That's tough. I think I definitely maybe go a little bit hard on myself saying which ones I should and shouldn't tell. I definitely try to be my most honest self when I'm writing, because I feel like as an audience, you can maybe tell when somebody's not being like true to themselves. And I think I definitely struggled with that a little bit in the beginning, you know, not kind of figuring out the fine line of where I should be sharing, how much I should be sharing, and how much should be, you know, just this, you know, for the sake of it just being a song. I think I have to determine which ones I can tell just by feeling whether or not I feel like maybe somebody has felt what I felt before. And I know that's going to be like, it's going to be a little bit hard to like realize, like, or figure out if maybe other people are going to feel what I'm feeling. But it's just a shot in the dark. You know, you throw an idea out there, maybe some people will latch onto it, maybe some people won't, but you know.
And out of these stories, which one surprised you the most where it actually latched on, where maybe you weren't too surprised? Like maybe, because there's always been cases where there's certain songs that people like for example, I think Canyon was one of them, where there's a song that they wanted to cut off from their EP or their album, and it ended up being like their biggest hit.
Yeah. Well, I think I definitely didn't expect Relapse to go as far as it did. I know that was a song that a lot of people really liked live, but I definitely didn't expect it to go as quick. I don't know if you've seen like the streams numbers on that, but I feel like that's kind of crazy. And that just randomly happened. I think Been There Before, I was told by a lot of people that I worked with very closely, that song was probably not going to work out as a single release because it was way too long. And a lot of playlists, you know, they said no, they didn't like it.
Yeah.
Or not that they didn't like it, but it was just a long song. It's a 5-minute long song, and a lot of like playlists and radio stations, they cut it off at 3, and they'll be like, you know, I think it's a little bit too long. I think there's a little bit too much going on. But now it's like that's one of the like main songs that people want to hear like at a live show. That's one of the ones that people love. It's like my number 1 on Spotify.
Have you asked why that is, or no? Like the audience?
I haven't, but I kind of get it. I mean, that is one of my favorite songs for sure. And I actually wrote that with George from 10 Foot Overhead.
Yes.
We wrote that together. And we always knew that there was something special in that one. It took us a little while to get it going, but there was never a doubt that people were going to connect with that one.
And how do you determine, like, or not determine, but like, how do you tell, like, when you know something special is going on with a song compared to where it's kind of like, maybe it'll do good, maybe not?
I don't know. I think you just feel it.
Feel it.
Because I've had songs that I write that I don't know whether or not it's gonna hit with people. And I can go 2 routes with that one. I mean, a lot of the times I'm just like, okay, that's just not going on the record, or that's just not, maybe it's not quite there yet. But a lot of the times I'm also like, well, it might not hit with everybody, but let's just say that one's for me. You know, this little like
just a fun song.
Yeah, this little song right here. I don't know if you guys are gonna like it, but I like it. So this one's for me. You guys can have the rest of them. You know.
Yeah.
But I think you just feel it. Like Flatline is my most recent single, and I wrote that song in about as long as the song is. I think I maybe took 5 minutes writing that song. It just happened. I don't know. It's just something that something that happens. I don't know.
It's just is it like an improvement over time, or is just you just feel like a magical moment where like, you know what, I'm writing this down.
Yeah, it's just a magical moment, because there are nights when I write all my music at nighttime at like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's either I'll sit there and nothing will happen, or I'll sit there and I'll walk out with like 2 or 3 songs that I'm like, okay, this could work, or this is just like, this is absolutely something, you know?
Yeah. Dang. Yeah, because I always get curious about that, because obviously people want to make hit songs. Like, you want, not just for the sake of the song being a hit song, but like you want people to hear your song, your message out there. Yeah. So figuring out the way of doing it perfectly, it's interesting, because I remember hearing an interview with David Bowie, where he knew exactly how to make a hit song. So like if he wanted to he'll write one down. But if he wanted to write a song for himself, he would just do that instead.
Yeah, I think there's also a big line between which one is going to be a hit song and which one, you know, is maybe not going to be a hit song, but it's something that you have to do. You know, I have a song on the EP, on my last EP, which was, it's the very last song. It's called The Man That Ruled the World. And although I really love playing that song live, and I think a lot of people really like listening to it live, I kind of knew from the get-go when I was writing that song, as I was writing it, I was like, this is not going to be one of the big ones. Yeah. But I feel like people who really like the music are actually probably really going to appreciate this. And when it comes to the live shows, that's another thing I really focus on, is whether or not these are going to be cool at a live show. Because that's the thing maybe that I love most about music, is playing shows and like having people react to it, and whether or not they like it or not. That's kind of how I base whether or not I should put out a song.
It's pretty smart.
Yeah. And I feel like if it does something for the crowd at a live show, it's worth putting out. If it doesn't matter if it's like, if it makes them go crazy, if it makes them cry, if it makes them think, if it does something for them, it's maybe worth putting out.
Because I was thinking like in ways of comedians, where comedians go to open mics to test out like new jokes and start formulating something,
absolutely.
And then eventually they put it out there for a special.
Yeah, for sure.
Because from what I noticed here, once you like get yourself established, people kind of stop going to open mics, because like, okay, what's the point? But like if you want to try out a new song, it kind of makes sense.
It's a great thing. I feel like I still try to do that as much as I can too. I'll still come up to an open mic, and I'll go to like a different kind of open mic. Like I'll go to a country open mic and play like, I don't know, like The Man That Ruled the World. And I'm like, what does this crowd think about this song? Yeah. Do they like it? And I've gone to country like shows and played The Man That Ruled the World, and they love it.
They love it.
It's crazy. I think they like it more than like the rock crowd likes it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Or I'll go to I've gone to a comedy open mic and just played some different music, and I was like, I don't know if this is gonna fit in or on what the tonight is, but if somebody gets something out of it, maybe it's a good song. I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely artists who have like cross appeal. Yeah. The first one I ever heard of was Nirvana, where not only were like they like well known, because rock is considered like white people music. Yeah. Yeah, and then like rap is like black people music. That's like the stereotype. And there was like a black comedian I listened to, Patrice O'Neill, where he's talking about how Nirvana they went so beyond just grunge music, rock music. Like they also went into like the black community, where even black people were like, a bunch of other races were listening to Nirvana. So like some songs and some bands have like cross appeal.
And I think that's definitely something that I would really like to have, because I know, like, I love rock music. Yeah. And when I was going to school, it was like I was like one of the only people who was listening to rock
Yeah,
music at
like
the
same
time.
because it was always rap. That was
Yeah.
that's the mainstream.
And I mean, I listen to rap. I have an Eminem shirt on. Like,
Yeah.
I don't listen to too much because I'm not in that world. But there are some stuff that I like, and I kind of like to take that, and I'm like, I don't know, if I add like this little rhythm cadence, I think maybe like I have a song called 305. It's not out yet, but I do this kind of like, and it begins to seep in me, jump out the deep end. I'm trying to, it's like a little like kind of almost rap rhyme scheme
Yeah.
and like cadence. And I'm like, yeah, this might go a little bit well with like the rap community or.
And you had bands like Linkin Park do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I don't know, whatever I could do, if I can ever, one of my dreams is to be like a gateway drug to a to like a new set of kids who like they don't know anything about rock music, but maybe they found one of my songs and I was like, oh, I don't really like rock music, but this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know, 2 years down the line, they're like listening to like the heaviest shit imaginable, and they're like, how did I get here? You know?
Yeah. There's definitely bands who fill that gap.
Yeah.
Like I know, like for the hardcore scene, it's like Metallica. Like that's like kind of like the first band you hear.
Yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
eventually you start going to like the deeper scene.
And that's like a big goal of mine. And like eventually I would like to be that gateway band that you listen to me and then you figure out that there is an entire other world of music that you haven't checked out yet. And then you go deep into that. Because that's what I did when I was like 5 years old. My dad got me a Guns N' Roses CD. And that was like, wow. I was so in love with like, I got the Appetite for Destruction album on CD. And I probably played that. We were on a road trip to Mexico. I played it the entire time. My dad got so mad. He was like, I should not have given this CD to you. You've like just, I think by the end of the trip, like the CD was just all scratched up and ruined. Yeah, it was gone.
Yeah.
But I remember that. I remember going into that world. Like I was a little kid, but I remember going into that world and being like, what's next? I'd like to like check out some other stuff. And I went into a bunch of classic rock, and then I found like grunge and alternative and all this. And I started figuring out which were the bands that I really liked.
And how did that eventually lead up to you picking up an instrument?
And so my older sister, she had an acoustic guitar. It was an Ibanez. I still have it to this day. And she never played it. She bought it. She never played it, never touched it. And so my dad hung it up on my wall, just like as a decoration piece. And the entire time as a kid growing up, I would just look at it and I'd be like, man, that would be so cool. And it's just to like shred. But I never really did. I started writing music because I was listening to Eminem. And I was like, I'm going to try writing some music. And I started writing rap originally. I can't rap and I don't do it well. But I was just ripping off Eminem for my first couple of years in my childhood. And I don't know, eventually I was just like trying to figure out how to sing. I listened to some John Mayer and I was like, maybe I can do something like that. Maybe I can like sing a little bit. Because I always heard like Guns N' Roses and like musicians and singers who were just like way up here.
There,
and I was like, I don't even know how to begin. But when I listened to John Mayer, he was like a lower register, kind of like a little something that was more doable. And I was like, I'll try maybe singing some of this. Maybe that'll be cool. And that's when I figured out maybe I can sing. And then after that, I was like, okay, I have to like learn. So I told my parents, I was like, I really want to learn guitar. They took me to a like guitar lesson. And I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. And so I put it down and I was just like, kind of like, I let it go for a little bit. And then I just came across a YouTube video and Marty Schwartz and all that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let me try this. And that was it.
That was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting because I always ask people like, how did they eventually pick up instruments? And that's a similar story where they started like taking lessons and they kind of quit and then they got back into it. Or another one I always hear is they started off at church where like they started performing in front of people and then eventually like went from like religious music to secular music and then they continued off of that. Those are like the common stories I always hear.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that was definitely, it's always there. For a musician, I feel like it always had to be like there was a seed planted
there,
at some
yeah.
point. Mine was just the fact that my sister just didn't want to play guitar, and so I picked it up, and I was like, I'll try it.
And if she would have wanted to, it would have changed your
It would have changed her trajectory, and I probably would have been far away from music. I would have
Yeah.
probably been like, nah, I don't want to do that. My sister does that.
Yeah, I don't want to be like my sister.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's pretty interesting. And then eventually, you started like you made up your band with your high school mates.
Yeah.
How did you eventually get to the point where you wanted to record music?
That was always something. That was always my goal for sure. As soon as we got in, because music's always been everything I've ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
Since the moment I figured it out, I was like, this is the person that I am, and this is the thing that I want to do. So there was never going to be anything that made me. I was never going to be happy doing anything else.
Yeah.
And so I immediately just like jumped on it. I was trying to like find friends who would play guitar and play drums, play bass. And I had a couple songs written. They weren't really any good, but I went into the band thinking like, okay, I have these songs. And then I don't know, we'll record them or something. And I feel like those songs I pretty much trashed immediately. I was like, let's start over. Let's do it again. And then we started off pretty quick. As soon as we started the band, we started getting just like shows long before we were ready to play shows, might I add. So we didn't really have any music. So we were playing like just covers and like maybe throwing like one or two originals in there. And that was honestly, that wasn't bad because it kind of got us a little bit of attention at the time.
And good experience.
Yeah.
Getting your name out there.
Yeah, it got us more shows. It got us experience. It got some people wanting to pay attention to us. And, just along the way, we were literally in this living room every day after school. We would come in here, we'd practice, we'd write songs. It was so much fun, but my parents, I had never let them sleep. We were here every single day after school. But it was fun. We started writing. One of the first songs was Relapse, was one of the first ones that we put together. Then 305, the one that I was talking about earlier. We had another couple of songs that we wrote that didn't really get to see the light of day, but I mean, maybe sometime in the future, because I still feel like some of those songs definitely do have something there. But we just started putting stuff together. We always had a plan to record at like my place. So I had like a little setup. I just had like my little interface. And so we were just like, we didn't really know a whole lot about recording or anything. Yeah. Yeah. Scarlett.
That's where everybody starts off.
Absolutely. If you don't have a Focusrite, you're not a musician. No, but we just started recording like on my little Focusrite and like one mic. So it wasn't like the best audio quality or anything.
Yeah.
And so that was the first kind of seeds of what later became to be my music, for sure.
And then after that, you moved to Austin, right?
Yeah, a bit after. We definitely went through the whole like COVID and
How did you guys survive through COVID?
Oh man, we didn't.
Didn't?
We didn't. Bro, we died.
Yeah.
I literally probably spent about a month in my room just like playing Red Dead Redemption. But after I snapped out of that, after I was like, okay, hold up, I'm
You're stalling,
wait.
yeah.
Then I woke up and I was like, we're bored, we're doing nothing. Let me go and let me record something. And so I started writing some songs, and within a couple weeks I started recording them. And then I put out my first demo tape. Yeah. That was like my first it was just super low budget, just acoustic guitar and bass and vocals. And that was like my first real project. And I think that gave me kind of what I needed to be like, okay, let's take this seriously. Let's head on out. Let's do something. And within a couple months, I actually got an RV. And I took off. I was like, yeah, all right, let's go do this. And so I was in Dallas for a little bit, trying to just, I was also doing like online school at the time and everything. Okay, yeah. So I was doing like online school and, just playing shows, just doing open mics. And then eventually made my way to Austin. which is when I just really decided to let's stick around for a little bit. Let's play some shows, and I wanted to bring this idea of this EP that I had in my mind to reality. So I really focused on getting that EP done because I had that idea for that EP since I was in high school, and since even before the band or anything, I had the idea of the Prescribed project, and I was like, I really want to tell this type of story, and eventually make that into some almost like a concept album. And for the longest time, I was trying to flesh that out. But by the time I got to Austin, I was like, okay, let me focus because I had tried it a couple times before and it just didn't work out. So I focused, spent about a year working on it, and finally came out.
What was the theme for the album?
So the Prescribed Project EP was almost like a sampler in a way. I kind of wanted to tell, because the last thing I had released since then was my acoustic demos. So when I would show people when I would tell people oh, I have music on Spotify and I play rock music, my Spotify wouldn't really show the fact that I play rock music. It was just a bunch of a little acoustic demos.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to have this EP as a tone shift and show the fact of music, the type of music that you'll hear when you come to a show. But the real story about this project came in the shape of an album. I really wanted to make this concept album. And it was this story that I'd written for a long time. It was about almost like a character with a split personality disorder. He had two sides of himself. One side that was basically all of his worst traits amplified all the way to the max, making him a completely different person. The other side was just, the regular, I guess, me in a way,
Yeah.
And it's a complete, the album just kind of shows a complete fight for control. Who's got the hand on the steering wheel kind of thing, And that's kind of basically the story that I've been trying to tell for a bit. And that's that's the story that I've been working on recently.
What made you land on that kind of story?
I feel like what originally got me wanting to write music was the fact that in high school I kind of felt like time was just going by too quick.
Okay.
I had a lot of, I guess, insecurities about the future and a lot of fear about what was going to happen, after we left high school.
I'm surprised you had it so young.
Oh, dude, I was too. I feel like everybody, that was the thing that made me want to start writing music because I was like, I feel like nobody understands what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure some people probably did, but I was just like, damn, I am out of high school in 4 years. And my parents are getting older. I'm getting older. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I didn't have those kind of thoughts until after college.
Oh,
yeah. The fact that you had it during high school.
I had that freshman year of high school. I had a flip and I was like, wow, I'm running out of time. Holy shit, I got to do something.
15-year-old don't need all the time.
Yeah, dude, I was I couldn't even tell you, I felt like I was 45. I still do, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm running out of time even today. Which is what makes me just go.
And it's a good thing to have those.
Yeah, I think for sure it's helped me out. But at the time, I think I just didn't handle it very well. And it made me definitely show a lot of bad traits about myself. And looking back, I was like, man, I was a dick. Because I didn't really have a lot of time for I had the time, I just didn't want to make the time for friendships and relationships and all that stuff. I was kind of being a little bit of an ass.
Yeah, it happens, I think.
And realizing that now, I was like, it was almost like an entirely different person. But, a lot of me starts thinking not that it would ever go this way, but I made it out the other side.
How did you catch on that you were going through that? Because I had gone through a similar thing where in middle school I was, in elementary I was kind of bullied. Yeah. But then in middle school, I started making friends who were kind of bullies. And for me, the point where I started there's a point where you're having fun with your friends, doing stuff together. And then there's a part where once you start ganging up on a kid, that's where it's kind of like iffy. And then for me, it
Yeah.
was there was a moment where we made this. Well, not me. I was not involved in this part, but they were making fun of a kid at lunch, and once like he broke down and started crying, that's when I'm like, okay, this is a little too far. I need to
Yeah.
like back off. Was there a moment for you where you realized like, okay, you know what, I'm being a little bit too much of an asshole. I need to like
Yeah,
turn away
man.
because some people don't get that feeling. These continue going on that same route.
Yeah, that's the thing that scared me. That's like I realized, I think just because like I found out like so many of the friendships that I had, I didn't appreciate, you know. So I ended up just kind of like being like just kind of on my own, and so I was like, you know, for a lot of the time I was like bitter about it. I was like, "Ah, whatever, I don't need it, you know. But as you grow up, you know, you meet like my sister. She had a kid, and he was my nephew, and he was the best kid in the world. He honestly helped me see a lot about myself. It was crazy, like, you know, he's not my kid or anything like that,
Yeah.
but like just seeing him grow up, and you know, me just trying to be the best uncle for him made me just realize, like, you know, I just got to be a better person in general. There's a lot of people I just pushed away, and a lot of people that don't like me anymore just because I was a dick for like a couple years, and
Yeah.
that's not the person that I am or the person that I want to be. I just, you know, I had too much on my mind at the time, and I didn't look around. I was totally tunnel visioned. I didn't see all the things that I was doing.
Yeah, and it's like that's the part that kind of sucks because you could have one image how you are in high school, and people are gonna keep
Yeah.
that image for the rest of their lives because at their graduation, you guys don't see each other.
Yeah,
so like
for sure.
their image of you as this person from this time. The years moving forward, like you could have changed as a person. Some people do change, some people don't. So I mean, fair enough. But
Yeah.
if you do change, it kind of sucks that like even if you come back to your hometown or whatever, like you're still gonna have that same image from these people, and you could be a completely different person. And even them, they could have been different people too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you live, and I mean, there's certain things that you just like accept. You know,
Yeah.
I can't go back and change anything that I did in the past, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna live and do things a little bit better now,
Yeah.
and try to be better. And that was kind of what I wanted to show in this project. Like I wanted to, you know, what if there was a version of me that didn't listen, that didn't have my nephew, you know, that didn't have my family around me to like show me like, you know, I'm doing some shit that's like
Yeah.
not good. What if I went all the way? What if, you know, and especially as a musician, you know, there's a lot of ego involved in musician. There's a lot of like, you know, there's money. There's like, I could lose myself so easily. That's the thing. Like any artist can lose themselves so easily. But, you know, now that I'm conscious about it, you know, I'm going to do everything in my power to, you know, just be the guy that I am and never like stray from what I believe in and the things that I, you know, hold dear to my heart. But what if I never did? What would that guy look like? And so I kind of, you know, decided to write him as a character. And then there's me. And it's almost like kind of like a battle of who's going to win at the end, because I feel like I'm just at the beginning of my, you know, journey as a musician. I don't know what I'm going to be 10, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
I have an idea of what I want to be, of where I want to be, but I don't know. And I think writing a project like this, that's always going to be in my mind of like, you know, just don't turn it to that other guy, you know?
It's yeah. I seen that happen. I seen some artists where they have a decent following. And
Yeah.
They have this huge ego, and I seen these bands that are much bigger than them who, for some reason, they kept themselves grounded. Like they're down to earth people. They're very nice, and they have the rights or the means to like be cocky and everything because they have like really big followings.
Yeah.
But they choose not to. And I
It's-
wonder, do you know what that is? Where some people just give in to like the ego and like, you know what, they think they're better than others, and then there's other artists who they don't.
Yeah, no, I've definitely seen that for sure.
What do you think makes a difference?
I think you have to understand as a musician that you are nothing without the people who follow you. That's the thing that I feel like I owe absolutely everything. Everything, like from where I live to what I do. Like the only reason I am able to do the things that I do
Yeah.
is because there are people out there who like my music and who want to come out to the shows. If there wasn't anybody to come out to the shows, I wouldn't be playing shows.
Yeah.
So like, I'm kind of like, I'm blessed that I get to do this and that people care about it. So that's like, I feel like a lot of people lose track of the fact that like, oh, we got all these fans and all this. And it's like, it's not you. Like they care about you. They want you. Like they want to come see your music. But if you didn't have them, you're just some regular guy. And it's like, you have to kind of give that love where it's due. You can't.
Yeah.
Because you're in a certain position because of other people. Like obviously you put in the work, you do everything you got to do. Like you're not in that position for no reason. You definitely put in the work and you've grinded and done as much as you can do. But at the end of the day, it is also because you have people around you to support you and people who love you and people who want to come see you and all that. So you have to show love back.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, I think.
And when it comes to this character, like this shadow, whatever you want to call it, why do they give in? Like exactly, like that's the point. Like they don't care anymore.
Yeah, I can't answer that yet. The record's
You haven't
not
thought
out.
about it, or
no? I've thought about it.
Okay, you thought about it.
Record's not out yet.
Because I don't.
Yeah.
It's a thing I find interesting because again, I've seen people like obviously they put in the work, they grind everything.
Yeah.
They have a right to kind of be like, oh look, like I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Again,
You have a right to enjoy what you've worked hard to get.
yeah,
for sure.
And then a certain point where they're kind of like, you know what, I'm better than you.
Yeah, no, that's when it goes too far because you're not.
Yeah, because
You
it's
know?
a difference between being confident and being cocky.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I feel like there's nothing that anyone else can do. Like, there's nothing that I can do that anyone else can't do.
Yeah,
I'm not necessarily special. I'm just doing something else. So it's like you gotta kind of keep that mindset. Like even if you're at the way top, I feel like this is just what I believe. I feel like you're not. It's not because you're special. You may have worked really hard, but anybody else can just do that if they do what you did. But it's because of your foundation that you are where you are. It's because of the people who love you, the people who cared for you, the people who came out to the shows, who bought your CD. I feel like when you start taking that for granted,
yeah,
when you stop showing love back and realizing that they're the reason why you are where you are, that's when you kind of lose yourself.
yeah. I agree. Do you think those kind of people could be redeemed?
Absolutely, everybody can. Yeah.
How do you think a person could? I mean, it would probably go with your story. Like, if you were to do like a redemption arc on that character, but like, how do you think a person, or if you've seen it, how can a person go from really egotistical to like, you know what, I'm not doing this right. Let me change course again.
I mean, I could say my point of view, but I mean, I guess that just depends on the person, but. I don't know. I think it all just kind of starts.
I'll be the first one to admit that there's times where I kind of like, oh shit, like I'm doing pretty good, and I see some of my peers, I'm like, and there's certain people who they were like on top of me, like in terms of like what I'm doing, my niche, and I'm like, oh, well, now like they're doing better, so I got to do better. Then once I pass them, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
I passed them. But then obviously there comes a part like, okay, you know what? Because it happened to me where. There were certain people in my niche who like I started like beating them in terms of subscribers and views. I'm like, it feels good because like okay, because not just because like you're beating another person in your niche, but like you're obviously doing something right because people want to watch what or listen to your music, watch your videos. You're doing something right
for sure.
You need a metric to like tell okay, I'm going the right way, and obviously it's views, subscribers, whatever other metrics are involved, but even when that's like what you said like that, like I started realizing okay. Sure, people are listening to my stuff, but I need to remember that without them, I'm nothing. Yeah, and it's that simple. Where the moment if I were to lose anything, like that's it for me, and it's a wrap.
Yeah, I mean, and it's good. I feel like competition isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you want to be the best.
Yeah.
I want to be the best. Like, there's no reason why I shouldn't say that. But I don't want to be the best. If it means like putting the rest of like the bands down.
Yeah, that's when it becomes a problem.
I want so much to see bands like Cannon the Dealers and like Harley's Comet, which are just like some great friends of mine. I want them to succeed so much.
Same, because there's a lot of talent here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many cool bands, and I want them to succeed. But I mean, you're always gonna work hard to like push yourself to go up, as much as you can.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Just keep in mind that even if you're competing with other people, they're not your enemy.
Yeah.
They're also like, they're my great friends, and a win for them is a win for me. Like,
Exactly.
That's how I see it. If they're succeeding, that's great. I'm so happy about that.
I agree with that, especially because I don't know why it is where the Brownsville area seems so like far from like the McAllen scene.
Oh yeah.
Even though like the valley is small. I mean,
Yeah.
not only that, but like we're still separated from San Antonio. We're like 4 hours away from the nearest city. 3 if you count Corpus, but in general, Brownsville and McAllen aren't that far. I mean, it's maybe an hour drive, 15-minute drive. But like for the fact for it to be so split apart until like recently, where I noticed Canon go over there. Once in a while, I've seen who was it? I think Hardy Comment or Italia. Italia went over there too.
Italia went over there. I think we played on the same show at the Walrus.
And a couple of times you'll see some crossover, but it's kind of rare, and I find that weird.
Yeah, I feel like it should definitely, because I mean, we're not. I think the Valley as a whole could be a really cool, just like.
Because we're our own bubble.
Yeah, we're our own bubble. I feel like if we just like joined all of the music scene, mushed it together, there would be just so much. There's so much talent. We could do so much if we just started like, I don't know, playing shows, making a festival like a RGV festival where we get like everybody to come out and play. That'd be insane, dude.
It would. So there's a lot of bands like over here. Like you mentioned a bunch of them. Another one was Mr. Q. They're really good.
Yeah.
I know they're more popish type things, so it's kind of hard to put them into a rock show. But
no, I mean it fits. Like it's music. It's festival. You can have
music festival, yes, yeah, that works. But like when it comes to shows, that's where like some people are kind of like, oh, like
no, for sure. There's different
big lineups. It becomes a whole issue.
Yeah, I get that for sure.
Yeah. Have you thought about that, the music festival?
I thought about it, yeah. I've thought that would be a cool thing to do.
Because I have heard that there were some festivals here and like really big ones where like they would bring big artists.
We had Crossroads here in Brownsville 2020. And I think we had The Warning here. That was just slightly before my time. So I wasn't able to like go to the show and see, but I heard all about it, and I heard it was pretty cool.
Because I heard there was some in Mission where like they had brought Deftones and a bunch of like all these bigger bands.
What?
But yeah, there was. I need to take out my phone. I know it was kind of like the Warped Tour type stuff. I don't know, like, but Mission had like their own type where it was like at a race park.
That's insane.
And they would bring like really big bands. Wow. But I bet you like there was issues with money where like it became an issue like once you get these big bands, like you really need people to attend, otherwise you lose money.
For sure.
And I think that's kind of like the issue where the attendance wasn't high enough, so like people started like losing money, and then there was like issues like, oh, so how are you to pay the bands? And then it became a whole shit show. But like, yeah, like I hope it comes back where there's more festivals, even if it's just like local bands first, and then you get like bigger headliners.
Absolutely, we can definitely do that, and I don't think that will like kill the budget so much. But yeah, if we work our way up, that would be really, really cool. And I'm always, I'll come down for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, because this was like before my time too. Because this was like back in like 2011.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it was a long time ago.
That's surprising that even that long ago they did something like that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because I would hear the ads on the radio, but like I didn't think much of it because like I didn't listen to rock. Much rock. It was called the Never Say Never Fest.
Wow.
Okay, and then in 2016, but it was getting big. It started in 2009.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they had bands like Never Shout Never, Dead Drop Gorgeous, LMFAO.
LMFAO, that's crazy. That was 2011 for sure.
And they had like a lot of All Time Low.
Wow.
Yeah, here's some of the bands they had. Like they really had big bands, and it was like
Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like you're gonna see some big names, and this was 20 years ago or 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah, Deftones was here. That's insane, dude. I wish I knew about this when I was a kid.
Same.
Hail the Sun. Do you know who Hail the Sun is?
I don't know.
Dude, Love Hill of Sun. You gotta check them out.
And I had gotten invited once, but I'm like, I don't want to go to this.
I mean, I know we have like our like in South Padre Island, like spring
Oh, yeah,
break.
spring break,
We'll have like big people come, but this is crazy.
Yeah, these lineups were really, really crazy.
Macklemore.
And that's before he was, really big. So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Skrillex.
Yeah.
Sleeping with Sirens. Dude, this is crazy, man.
Did you have you gone to any concerts? Like, which was like your very first concert?
My first concert, I didn't start going to concerts until like last year.
Which was your first one?
My first one was John Mayer.
John Mayer. Oh,
Yeah.
comes full circle.
Yeah, dude. My first one was John Mayer. And since then I've started definitely going to concerts because I'm like, now I'm taking advantage of the fact that, I'm not a kid and I can go to, spend money in concerts.
Yeah.
So I've gone to see, Highly Suspect.
I heard of them. Yeah.
They're really cool. Tiger Cub, another really cool band. Who else? ZZ Top, before Dusty passed, and Chicago. This September, I'm gonna go see Guns N' Roses and Alice in Chains.
Oh, shit, that's badass.
Yeah, they're gonna be there. And I think Greta Van Fleet. I don't know if you know who they are.
Yeah. They get accused of being the Zeppelin clones.
Yeah, I like them. I don't care.
They're good.
Yeah, I like them. But they're coming around to San Antonio soon. So I'm
Wait,
gonna
when's that?
I think that's in
So I want to see
October.
October.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't bought the tickets yet, but I will for sure.
I want to see them because there's 3 bands that are considered kind of like the new iterations, so like older bands. So obviously you have Greta Van Fleet. Another one's Ghost. I got to see Ghost.
Yeah, I love this.
And the last one is they're a British glam rock band called the Struts. I went to see them. And they're kind of like, they're a mix between like, they have their own music, like their own style, but like they get compared a lot to Queen because of the singer's vocal range. He actually toured with the Foo Fighters before Hawkins had passed away. And they're like Dave kept saying like they were the best opening band they ever had.
That's cool.
They're really great.
I gotta check them out for sure.
So they get compared to he gets the lead singer is Luke Spiller. He gets compared to a mix of Freddie Mercury and Mick Jagger because like he's always dancing and he has like this glam thing. So
yeah, that's a powerful mix.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so like I want to see Greta Van Fleet because that's like the last one where you consider kind of like the classic type stuff, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. You ever heard of Dirty Honey?
No, I haven't.
I think you'd like them. They're opening for Guns N' Roses, and they're very classic rock for sure. I feel it. They're a newer band, but I really like them. They're very classic rock. And then I'm hoping to see Foo Fighters this year in Austin City Limits. So I know that they're playing.
Actually, I was following them on Spotify. I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah,
That they're doing.
Dude, they're cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a lot of bands where like I follow them on Spotify, but I can never get back to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll follow them and I'll
Check them out. Yeah, I'm the same way, dude. I have so much music that I gotta like check out and listen to. That's cool.
Yeah. Do you think about that where obviously you mentioned competition that is good.
Yeah.
How do you try to make yourself stand out where some artists you just follow them, you're like, okay, I like this music, but you don't really listen to it. You throw it in the back burner.
Yeah.
How do you try to separate yourself and try to make yourself like, you know what? I want you to listen to my music. What do you guys do?
So I try to do a lot of things. Like I definitely focus on my live shows. I definitely, if you don't listen to my music, I'd hope you at least come to a live show because I think that that's really fun. But as far as the music itself, I have a separate love for another art form, which is film. I love film. I love movies. I don't consider myself a good, director or anything like that. I have no idea how to work my way around a camera.
Yeah.
But I think I know a little bit about writing. So I've written just movies for fun in the past, like little movie scripts. And I write my music, specifically I write my albums like it's a movie.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to make my music a cinematic experience. And
What do you mean by that?
so I think like that concept album I was working on, that's a movie. Like that is first song to last song. That is the storyline of the movie. And In between you have like these little interconnecting like plots, and I don't know, I feel like I really work hard on making sure that a overarching story is being told as a whole. And I'd like to look at my discography 10 years from now and be like, damn, I think all of this tells a pretty solid story.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that's pretty cool. And I'm almost just as excited to see where it goes as like, anybody else. So I feel like we're going to figure out what this whole story is about together,
So you haven't found the ending to the story, or
No, not yet.
not yet?
No. Well, there's an ending to this first album for sure.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna go further than that.
So it's not just going to be just a one story per album. You want it to be an overarching story, or
Something like that. We'll see.
see.
I'm still figuring everything out. I'm still trying to see what I want to tell. I definitely think with this next album, which my first album, with this first album is, I think the story there is solid. There's room to go back and expand and tell a different type of story, or maybe I'll tell something else.
totally different? Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll see when we get to that.
What movies really like? I guess you mentioned you had like early on you started like copying Eminem when it comes to your
Yeah,
writing.
yeah.
What about movies? Which movies like basically consider like it's basically considered like the foundation of your narratives?
So, did you ever see the movie Split?
No.
No, it's a movie by
M. Night Shyamalan, right?
M. Night Shyamalan. It's kind of like, have you seen Unbreakable? I think it's in like
I haven't seen those two
Okay.
movies, even though they're considered like his great movies.
they're like interconnected movies.
Yeah, and that's because I've seen like his shittier, like considered shittier movies, like the Village, and
Yeah.
I love science. Like I know people like, oh, the water, how do you put the aliens? But I like the movie.
Yeah, no, I like it. I think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I thought Split was definitely. I already had this idea, and when I went to the theaters and saw Split, I was like, wow. Because the whole thing is about the guy with the split personality disorder. He has like all these.
That's as far as it goes for me.
And I was like, dude, what if like I can make an album that feels like this? Like what if you can almost sit down and watch an album? And I think that was that movie was definitely, because I had the idea of the split personality character, and then I saw that movie and I was like, now I kind of want to. I don't want to just like do it in a song. I like, what if I could just like make an album, and this album is going to be like the movie, and I'm going to be able to tell like this whole story about this character. You're going to be able to follow it through the whole album. And I don't know, I think that was definitely what like got the little light bulb in my head. I was like, I'm gonna try this. But and I know that a lot of people have told me like, yeah, like the album as like a format is like a little bit like it's not a lot of people go and listen to a full album.
Yeah, that's why people usually go with the EPs.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and that's what I did as well. Like I wanted my first like, I guess, full on like studio recorded project to be an EP. So that's why I did the Prescribed Project EP as like a palette, like taste test in a way. And I think the album is going to be able to stand on its own. If you're like, oh, I just want to listen to like Flatline or like, another one of the songs, you still get the experience of the song as a song. But if you want to go a little bit deeper and you want to actually check out the album, then you get a whole new experience. And it's not just like, it's not just the little thing that everybody else experienced. You get an entirely different, cinematic experience, which is, what I would hope to give.
I'm assuming you're gonna add a music video to these songs, or no?
Maybe.
I mean, I see some of your videos. I'm pretty sure music videos are your thing.
I like making music videos. I like experimenting with them. I'm new to the game for sure. I'm new to the music video game. But I have met a lot of really cool like videographers and directors.
There's a lot of cool people down here too.
For sure. I've wanted to work with like Goldwave.
Yeah. 10-foot overhead.
I saw that and I was like, that looks really cool.
Good, yeah.
I'd like to work with that with them. That would be really cool. So if you're watching, Yeah, go ahead. And I've seen, Bakri. He's like a rapper down here, and he
Yeah.
does music videos. His music videos are cool. I don't know. We'll see. I definitely want to mess around. I want to get weird with it. And I feel like, everything, even in my music as well, we have a white canvas. We can throw whatever kind of paint on it and see what comes out. So I've been having fun with that.
I hope so, because I wish more bands would do music videos. I know it becomes an issue because you gotta have everybody together. It could be expensive.
Yeah.
But like once you see certain music videos, like they're really fun. I think one of my favorite local music videos was Riley.
I've heard about them a lot recently. I haven't checked them out yet, but I'll have to check them out
They have a music
today.
video called for a song called "It's All Downhill from Here." It's basically like about like aging and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's very funny. I would recommend watching. And like anybody who's like watching the video or is listening to the podcast, like I would recommend seeing that video. It's very fun. And I wish like more bands would like do music videos.
Yeah, that's so. I feel like music videos are really cool. I feel like you have, obviously you have a picture of what the song is when you first listen to the song. You have that picture in your head, but when you see like a different idea of it, I don't know. I feel like it gives you like a whole different perspective almost, especially if you can figure out how to tell, a story through the like music video itself. I feel like that's really, really cool.
Yeah. And where do you plan to go from here? Because obviously you're working on your first album.
Yes.
What's next in the immediate future?
I'm gonna be playing so many shows this year. A lot of shows. I haven't announced much yet, but I am definitely working on booking more. So I'm gonna be on the road a lot, and I'm still working on the record. I'm working on a lot of other music that I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna do with yet, but we're gonna see
Where it goes?
when we get to it. I've met a lot of really, really cool people in my little journey. And, there's a lot that I'm not free to say quite yet, but I know for a fact that like you guys are going to love what's coming this year, because there's a lot coming. I've been working really, really hard since like as soon as when my EP came out in November, I was in the studio making new music. And since then I have been just working.
That's great.
So I've been doing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of music coming. There's a lot of, content coming in general. A lot of shows.
Well, what do you mean by
And-
content?
Yeah, I've been trying to work. I always try to work on different kinds of content. Last year I did this whole thing where I vlogged every day for a month, and then I would put it out, and then I would work on the next month and put it out at the end of the month. And this year I have been doing some other really cool things that I haven't put out anything like that yet. But it's going to be really cool. But I am trying to every couple of months, because I've seen a lot of people do a lot of different things. And I'm the kind of person that I was like, oh, that looks cool. I want to try it,
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do everything that I
it's
see,
impossible.
but I am wanting to give a shot to a lot of different cool ideas that I've been seeing around. But
Can
I
you
mean,
mention some of them or no?
yeah, dude. I've been definitely working on getting a lot of, like getting you guys and everybody involved in the stuff that I do, because I feel like I have a hard time working on stuff and then keeping everybody in the loop. I feel like every time I start diving deep into my music or into anything, I kind of leave the social media and everything behind. So I'm definitely working on ways where that doesn't need to be an issue anymore.
That's
Where
actually a good problem to have, because
Yeah.
some people have the opposite issue where like you're always on social media and like the work gets put in behind.
Yeah, I have the opposite. I'm not great at social media. And then a new platform just came out. What was it called?
Yeah, it's Threads, but like I don't think
Yeah.
it should be a big thing. If I'm proven wrong, I'm proven wrong. But like I don't think it's to become a big thing, because I think Twitter's just gonna stay.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably gonna stay. I mean, I got a notification the day that it came out. I think it came out like the same day Flatline did. So I was
Yeah.
like busy doing the Flatline stuff, and so I joined it, and I've done a couple things. I'm gonna try it out, see how that goes. But
Yeah, it
we'll
doesn't
see.
hurt. But I just
Yeah.
for me it's just kind of like Really, another one? Like,
Oh, dude,
it's a great place, Twitter.
too many. There's too many social media
And I have a
platforms.
feeling like instead of killing Twitter, I have a feeling it might end up killing Instagram instead.
You think so?
I think maybe,
That's gonna be powerful.
which is actually bad, but oh well.
Yeah. But I am not the best at social media. I will say a lot of people do it a lot better than I do.
The one I would recommend you should get on is TikTok.
That
one you have to.
I have TikTok. I'm new to it. I'm posting a bunch of different stuff, so you guys can check it out. It's different than the stuff that I post on my Instagram.
You should
go a little bit
promote,
more.
The where you can
Yeah, you can find all my stuff. It's gonna be Vince Spano Music. That's Spano. Cause I know my last name is a little weird. I'm on TikTok, Instagram. What's the other one? Threads.
Yeah.
I have a Facebook. You can go check it out if you want. I don't post much.
The grandparents.
Yeah. You gotta show love there too. I have YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, everywhere. Yeah, check it out. But as I was saying, I got sidetracked.
Yeah.
But I'm not the best at social media. But I want to bring everybody along on everything that I do. And kind of, because, I'm not a big time artist
Yeah.
either. And the people that love and come out to the shows and love the music and everything, I feel like they'd like to see a little bit more of me and like the stuff that I do. So I kind of want to do this. As of right now, my music journey is an open door. Anybody can come in, and I want to be able to show you exactly what I'm doing. And it's almost like we're doing it together.
Yeah.
Cause we're growing together. So this is gonna be, if you want to come in on a random day, I'll be in the studio and you can see exactly what I'm doing that day, or I'll be shooting a music video and you can be right there hanging out with us. I want to bring that to life as much as I can.
So the WC thing would be doing the behind the scenes vlogs. On the recording process.
For sure, I've been doing that. I've been hopping on live a little bit more than usual. I haven't done that for like a year. Like I haven't done a lot of lives, but I've been, behind the scenes footage, getting on lives when we're in the studio. I've been working like
another common thing with the live scene is people recording their practices.
That'd be really cool, yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of bands, like the bands I follow, or friends with, they usually like have like their practice and they just set up a camera by itself, without like doing any crazy stuff, and they just practice and people make comments.
Maybe we'll do that today. Who knows? Today we have a show.
I know, that's exciting.
We'll see. But yeah, dude, I'm just trying to find every day. I'm trying to find new, different ways to include people more, for sure.
What made you land on that specifically?
I mean,
people like they like to be kind of secretive, like like you'll come out when it'll come out.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, and I'm the same way. I like to keep my secrets close to my chest, for sure. But at the same time, I mean, we're just starting out here. Like I'm maybe a year into this whole thing, like fully. And I'd like to say like all the people that are here right now, I'd like to look back like 10 years from now and be like, damn, like we really we came up together. Like I was your Friday night at some point. You came out to see, at Kraken, and now we are like at freaking what's
the big one here, Cena.
Yeah. We'll do like a year from now. Like, well, okay, I was there last like a year ago Friday in Kraken. Now I'm in Cena. Like, fucking, we're at Wembley. Wherever we're gonna go together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take everybody.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. And I agree with that too, because I know one of my friends, they kind of dunk on the idea of like people, because there's some artists who say like, oh, big things are coming. And well, sometimes I do that too. Where
No, yeah, I'm the same way. Like,
but some people kind of dunk on that. It's kind of like cheesy in some ways. Like, at times. But I sometimes like throw hints like, oh, like I'm gonna be talking with this person. I don't name names, but like I'll just give like a hint.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely like I'll keep some things to my I'm not saying the story of the album, because I definitely want you guys to check out the album.
Yeah.
Figure that out for yourselves. See what that is. But I mean, if I'm in the studio and I can go live for a couple minutes and you guys can check out what I'm doing, I'm not opposed to that. I used to be for a really long time. I was like, I don't want to see what I'm working on. I don't want them to see what I'm working on until it's out.
Yeah.
And that's cool for sure. And I think maybe at some point I'll go back to that. But I think as of right now, I'm just really I'm really liking this whole community thing. So I'm like, okay, just come along. We'll hang out, come to the shows. You can see, even if you're not, like, I've been wanting to do, I only haven't done it because I haven't had somebody, I travel alone a lot of the time for like shows and stuff. And I have my band with me, but they're on stage with me.
Yeah.
And I'd like to do like the thing, like, I don't know if you've seen like 10 Foot does it, where they play a live show and then they go live. And then you get to see, like, even if you're not there, you get to see the show.
Too. Yeah.
I like to do that a little more, for sure. I just haven't had somebody that I can like give my phone to, so that they can record.
I've thought of one of the bands I do, who does that is Art Troll. I follow them. They put on a tripod on stage and they face it towards them.
That's not a bad idea.
Sometimes it's angled between like looking at them, but sometimes it's between them and the audience.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that way you don't have to worry about like people like grabbing it or something.
Yeah, that might be something to look into for sure. Yeah, that's cool. I might do that for sure.
Yeah, and I mean tripods aren't that expensive. I think like $20, $25.
Yeah,
decent ones.
It's not bad. Yeah, I might definitely do that for sure.
I'm always trying to help out people when it comes to content because I love making content. So like, what ideas can I give bands? Because sometimes band gives me ideas. I'm like, what can we do with this? And then
absolutely
some ideas.
That's cool. And I love making content too. Like I post videos all the time. I'll post like little things here and there.
Was there a point where you wanted to be a YouTuber or something? Because
Yeah,
the way you're describing like your methods and all that stuff, it sounds more like an online type person.
Yeah.
Creative, yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, I watched a lot of YouTube. I'd watch these cool, like, funny YouTubers. That's another thing. Like, I love, if I can make somebody laugh, that's my day has been made. And so I like comedy a lot. That would also be probably something that I would have wanted to do at some point, had I not done music or something like that. But I grew up watching like, a bunch of YouTubers, like, growing up. Like, there was this one, I don't think he's still around anymore, but his name was iSexy. And when I was a kid, I thought he was the funniest guy ever. And he's just kind of like, I would do like little things here and there. I never released anything, but when I was a kid, I was just like recording stuff. But
you're lucky you didn't do that stuff. Because there's stuff I had posted like on YouTube a long time ago. And
really?
It's cringe. And I'm like, I'm glad this is.
Oh, dude, I bet. Hey, you listen to my old stuff. That's cringe, man.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I think that was all. That was also almost like a little like dream I had as a little kid. I never did anything with it, but I mean, I guess now I kind of get to a little bit. I did the yearly vlogs, like monthly vlogs for a whole year. And that was really fun. I really did enjoy that. So that kind of made me want to do like the whole behind the scenes and like documentary style like stuff for sure.
Yeah, because the reason I asked you that is because I had this like similar feeling with there was this waiter at what restaurant was it? It was somewhere in McKellen next to like the plaza or whatever, and it was me and my friends were eating, and then this waiter like his demeanor was very different from like most waiters.
Yeah,
and I asked him like, "Are you a streamer?" And like he freaked out like, "How do you know?" I'm like, it's just the way like he presents himself and how he talks and everything. Like, you can tell like how they act. It's very different. I'm like,
you have a different. You kind of put it on a little bit.
Yeah, like they put on kind of a show, and I'm like,
yeah,
he's more like a streamer than a waiter. And you're like, yeah. And he gave us his cards, and it was
I get you. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that was definitely something that I wanted to do. Like that, I have like little ideas here and there. Where I'm like, maybe I can do like some vlogs here, and I don't know. I'm not great at capturing moments for a lot of the time, just because like when I'm not posting on like social media, I'm not on my phone. I'm not a very like tech heavy person.
How did that happen? Because most of the youth tends to be like very tech heavy.
Oh, dude. My parents are a lot older. So I feel like I kind of grew up with a little bit of an older mentality. My sister is almost 13 years older than I am, so we have a big age gap.
Okay.
So I kind of grew up around that more than a lot of other kids my age. So I always kind of felt like I was a little bit out of touch, And then I was weird, man. I was a weird kid. Like I wouldn't really. I didn't have a lot of technology. I mean, I had like PS2, PS3 when all that came out. and I would play video games and all that. But I didn't have like an iPod. I had an old Walkman that my dad had, so that was how I used to listen to music. I still do. I still have Walkman, and I put on cassette tapes.
And people are after those things.
Yeah, it's gotten like crazy now.
Yeah,
like
like
now,
a resurgence. Like
now I can
vinyl, but also cassettes.
now I can probably like resell like my Walkman for like a couple $100. And back in the day, it was ridiculous that I had that thing on me, but that was the only thing that I had to play music on. And then like I don't know, like I had a phone, but I guess I just never really connected with technology in that way. And then I'm really bad at computers. Like the whole editing and all that, dude, I just get somebody else to do that because I can't even.
Oh wow. Oh yeah. No, I feel you some way, Chris. Sometimes I am in tune with technology, and sometimes I'm not. I'm always the type of person to like hold off. Like when I was in early middle school, high school, Facebook was becoming a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And everybody was getting at Facebook, and I'm like, fuck this. Like I'm not gonna get a Facebook. Like, what do I need this? And it was so embarrassing because I would stay to to regular text messaging because me and my friends had a group chat.
Yeah.
And rather than like switching over to Messenger, I'm like, why do I need Messenger? It makes no sense.
Nah, I get you.
But then like once I saw the convenience of it where you see like the live person texting you, you can see their active status and a bunch of other stuff. I'm like, okay, I get it.
I had the whole switch. Cause you remember MySpace, right?
Yeah.
Dude. I was a kid when like that whole thing was going on, but I was on MySpace because my sister had signed me up. So, and then I remember like everybody switching over to like Facebook and all that. And I was like, fuck. At that time I had no clue like anything about Facebook. So I was like on MySpace, and I was probably like the only kid that had MySpace in like elementary school.
It's funny.
It's still there, man. I think it's still there somewhere. I think I still have that account.
Yeah. No, I my first Facebook it's gone.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because Facebook, I eventually added the feature of memories. So like I would get reminded of like messages or like posts I made from 2012, 2011. I'm like, this gotta go.
This gotta go.
This gotta go.
Yeah, I think my old Facebook from when I was a kid is probably out there floating around somewhere. So if y'all find it, I mean,
Yeah.
have a laugh.
You're braver than me.
I mean, I'd hunt it down, but I don't even remember how it was or what it looked like or what it was called.
No, yeah, it's because like most of like the jokes, the words, and everything like it was very different back then to compared to right now.
Ah, yeah.
So like the moment I saw these words, I'm like, well, time to go. But I mean, yeah, that's part of it where you grow up and you change as a person.
For sure.
And what's it called? Even not just that, but like society itself changes.
It changes. It changes quick.
Yeah,
That's another thing. It changes too quick for me as well. I don't know where my water went.
it's behind you.
Oh. Yeah. It's another thing that changes. Like, I feel like every day something new happens, and I'm like,
And when it comes to your music, do you plan to stick to the same sound, or like how do you plan to keep yourself relevant, fresh, and
it's.
keep people coming back?
I think my music is gonna change, the same way that I'm gonna change as a person. As I'm gonna grow up, I am for sure gonna change. I'm only 20 years old, so I have a lot of change ahead of me. I have so much that I'm gonna live through. That I'm sure. My music is for sure gonna reflect that. It's not always gonna be what it is now. Just like it's not what it was, 3 years ago. It's not what it was when the Letters from the Spaceman EP like demos dropped. And even today, I feel like it's even just still a little bit different than what the Prescribed project was.
Yeah.
I think it's just little by little, things are going to change. I don't know that I'm going to try to chase the trend as other artists have. So I don't know if my music is gonna be like one album I'm good doing like rock, and then the next album I'm doing like commercial pop music. So I don't know if it's gonna change like in that way, but it's definitely gonna change. Every time something new comes around, because I'm gonna be a different person by then.
Yeah. No, yeah, you have plenty of time. There's gonna be different. This is like I always tell like by some of my friends because some of them are your age, and I tell them like you're gonna go through changes to this time because I think one of the difficult parts for people is once you're out of high school and you're entering college, you're gonna start making different friends, and sometimes you're gonna end up losing friends from your high school era.
Absolutely.
And like that happened to me like last year, where like there's friends I had for 10 years, and like arguments started happening where people become different people, and it's not bad on anybody. It's just people just change, and your interests are no longer aligned, and
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that happens for sure. Like there's plenty of people that you know come and gone. But I think that I still have a lot of friends that are from from high school that don't know me as the musician Vince Spano, that know me as just the guy that was in high school with them. And I kind of need that. I need to be able to come home and I'm not what I am in Austin
yeah,
down here. Like I am not the full time, just always working musician. When I'm here, I'm just the dude that went to high school with them, and we're gonna go grab a burger.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do besides music? What other hobbies do you engage in?
Bro, not much. I mean, I don't. I definitely do work a lot, but the things that I love outside of music, I obviously love movies. I'm a big geek. I love going to comic book shops. I love comics. I like to cook.
Cook.
I like to grill. I have been, for the longest time I lived in an RV. Now I actually live in an apartment. So I have a kitchen. And I've been going crazy just cooking and like finding like different types of ways to cook.
Which like I guess cuisine is your favorite?
Dude, I have been really into making Italian food.
Which
I've
dishes
been-
in specific?
I've just been making, as of right now, I've just been making like, Alfredos, like carbonara. But I wanted to get into making like a cordon bleu. I know it's not Italian, but like, that's something that I've been wanting to make. I want to actually try to, I know it's a lot of boring stuff. It's not incredible stuff, but it's stuff that I haven't done yet just because I haven't had a kitchen in forever. So I've been wanting to make like an actual like, lasagna on myself. I want to learn how to bake, make like a cake and stuff like that. My mom makes a cheesecake that I think is the greatest thing that has ever touched the earth. I want to try my hand at making something like that. I know it's not going to be as nearly as good, but I want to try it.
Yeah.
I want to try to see if I can make something good. I've been making ribs. I haven't gotten around to it, but I want to make some brisket.
Which is your favorite ribs? Because there's always a battle between pork and beef.
Oh man.
Because beef is seen as specifically a Texas thing because of the influences from the Germans,
Yeah.
while pork is specifically seen as a Southern thing where pigs were like really common here in the South. So
I love both. I think if I'm gonna choose like which one I enjoy making, it's gonna be beef
beef.
for sure. Just because I think I just really like cooking meat.
Yeah.
But I mean, fuck, I love pork.
Yeah.
I love pork ribs. I'm not gonna say no to either.
Yeah, because I see like arguments like, oh, which is better? I don't know. I go to like different niches.
Yeah, I guess so. I like both. I don't think I can say like one is better than the other. But as far as like making them, if you're gonna ask me which one do I want to make, I'll probably make the beef ones.
Beef ones.
Yeah.
And which is your signature or to-go dish that like you make a really good one?
If I have dude, I can make a mean New York strip.
New York strip.
Yeah, that's a solid one. Tomahawk,
Oh damn.
dude. I can do a mean one.
Yeah.
Um,
Which
Yeah.
spices do you use?
I keep it a little bit clean. Salt, pepper. Use some garlic and some butter. I use some parsley. I throw in a little bit of basil, and that's pretty much it. Sometimes I'll use like a steak seasoning.
Yeah.
But I like to mess around with and without just to see like what I can get just out of just like pure like regular ingredients
Yeah.
without having to put like the steak seasoning on it. But sometimes steak seasoning is pretty
yeah,
good.
that's it. Yeah, because there's been a guy who's like recently blowing up from the valley. I'm trying to remember his name. I'm not sure it was Arnie or something like that.
Yeah.
But there's some guy from here in the valley who's He's a barbecue guy.
Oh, cool.
And like he recently started like blowing up because Joe Rogan said that he loved to spice, and without like really spiked the Brazils.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's
Nice. That's cool.
yeah, this guy's very cool. Like that's why like I get interested like not just in music, but like there's so many other like niches here in the valley where
Yeah. There's so much cool stuff that's going
like
on.
I want to
here,
get
man.
into it because even, I no longer hear it anymore. But back then, like a common complaint was like, "There's nothing to do in the valley,"
Yeah.
and like there is, but like you gotta find it.
It's definitely growing for sure. There's definitely a lot more to do now than I think there was like maybe when I was growing up for sure. But I mean, I still had a fun time growing up here. I wouldn't have changed it at all.
What did you do like for fun?
I was out in the front yard with like all my neighbor kids. We were just like, we have a park like this way. So we were always just like out here just playing and doing a bunch of stuff. I was really, I played a little bit of video games. I was really into WWE. I was really into like wrestling and all that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, we were just wrestling in the backyard and doing a bunch of crazy stuff. That was
Did
funny.
you like
Man.
recreate moves or no?
Dude, yeah, absolutely. I had a friend. Well, I really hurt my back doing this, but I had a friend who had a 2-story house, and so I got on like they had like a first floor like roof. Like you know how sometimes you have like a little bit of a roof on top of the first floor, so you can go up. You're not all the way up in the second.
But you're on the middle. Yeah.
So I was going up there, and I had a friend. He was in the pool, and so I was like, I'm gonna jump in the pool. I'm gonna do like a swanton, like a flip, like you know who Jeff Hardy is.
Yeah.
Dude, I was gonna do like a swanton bomb and all this. Dude, I missed the pool, and I landed on the floor, and I was like, my back. Dude, my back hasn't been the same since, man. Dude, after a show, I'll feel it a little bit. I'm like, I gotta sit down for a minute.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, my cousin was similar. It's like he was like really, really into WWE. I wasn't as much, but I still enjoyed it. And like he wanted it didn't happen, but he wanted us to like for him to like flip him over on a table, like slaps it. I'm like my uncle saw that, he's like, nah, we're not doing this.
Oh, dude.
It was close, but I'm like, damn.
Dude, it was a blast, man. We used to do crazy things.
I'm gonna check the computer. You keep talking.
Yeah. Go ahead. But it was fun. It was really cool. We did a lot of stupid stuff, and we had fun. It was a fun childhood, I'd say. We were pretty crazy.
I was just checking for the people who are like watching this. Like I used to check. Sometimes I get like, there was one time where I was recording a podcast.
And it like stopped the recording.
The camera wasn't on. This was
Oh.
the camera wasn't on.
Yeah.
And like so, like ever since like sometimes I'm like, you want? Let me make sure. Just like I know it's working, but like I just want to make sure.
Yeah, for sure. Oof.
Yeah, that happened once, and I'm like, oh, can we start?
You do like a pure audio podcast.
Yeah, that was like the issue early on with the podcast where I would rely on the camera's battery, and it would only last like an hour at most.
Yeah.
And most of my podcasts they're like an hour and a half or maybe 2 hours. And it's like a constant thing where like it would just shut off, and then the rest of the half would become audio only.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until it was the podcast here in Brownsville actually. It was with Mr. Q where the battery died early on, and I was trying to record the performance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can I charge my? I was like, can I charge my camera? And it took a while, so they were just there sitting down. I was there too. And I'm like,
So
what else do we talk about?
what do you want to talk about off camera?
And the guy, like one of the guys, told me like, why don't you get another battery? And I kind of wanted to tell him, well, like, are you gonna buy it? Because camera batteries are expensive.
Yeah.
And I was gonna tell him like, what, are you gonna buy me one? Not to be rude to them, but it's kind of like
It's an expensive thing.
I can become aggressive for like when I'm frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was like really frustrated, because I'm trying to make sure everything goes perfectly, and then like if it doesn't, like I get into a panic. And but either way, like I really took into consideration. So what I did was that there's a battery connected to the camera right now.
Okay.
It's connected to that power bank over there. So instead of using the camera's regular battery, I'm using the dummy battery that's to that power bank, and it can last however long it wants.
That's cool. Yeah. That's smart, man.
Yeah. So like there's a lot of issues when. Like a lot of technical issues, like when you're first starting off.
For sure.
And I was wondering, what kind of issues did you go on? Like, what issues have you like gone through as a musician? Like, obviously, there's gonna be technical issues. There's gonna be like life issues. Like, what kind of stuff have you dealt with?
There's been so many, man. I mean, I still have issues to this day sometimes. As a guitarist, my whole like pedal board, it's like you move one little thing, and the whole thing just starts like cutting off and like making horrible sounds. So I'm like always trying to make sure like my pedal board, like I get it set up and it does not get touched. Like other than, you know, by me like pressing on it. But there have been many times when we were first starting off, we had like very, very bad gear. It had like tiny little amps and all that. And so it was rough, man. Like our sound would keep cutting out. Like my vocal mic would keep like just like distorting and like feedback. And so we had a bunch of that. I think at my last show, dude, I don't know. So I feel like I don't do very well if I can't hear myself like sing. I don't know. I don't think I do that great as well as I can do if I can hear myself vocally. So at my last show, it was very loud, but I could not hear like myself at all. It felt like I was just like, so I just started singing like really, really loud. And if I'm singing like really, really loud for like an hour and a half, like by the very last song, it was my Flatline release party.
Oh no.
By my very last song, my voice was gone, dude. I was like, ah. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I am just going to play guitar. I'm going to need just you guys to like take this over. That was also one of the coolest things though, because like to be able to like have like send like the mic to do that kind of thing. And for them to actually sing it to you, that's insane. And that really, I was just like, I'm just going to need you guys' help tonight because I'm gone. Like my voice is completely shot. But that was really cool though. The fact that they were like, you know, they sing back, you know, the lyrics to your music. I feel like that's special. Like that was a good feeling.
Dang. When did you start noticing where people are actually singing back?
Dude.
Was it that first show, or there was other shows where you started noticing where?
No, yeah, there's definitely been other shows before. I think the first time I started noticing was when we were already like where we were in Creekwood. People just latched onto Relapse really fast. And I mean, it's not a hard song. Like the chorus is relapse, relapse.
Yeah.
And so like that was like immediately like people started catching on to that. But you know, I think there was one particular show that we did in McCarthy's Pub. You know where that's at? That's like, it's really close by. It's a couple blocks away. And it was on a Monday night. It was a school night when we were still in school. And it just people came out. And I think that was honestly probably one of my most like underrated, like favorite shows of like my early years.
Yeah.
Because that was like the loudest. I think I remember them being like the loudest that night when Relapse was coming out. And then just like them singing that song was really, really cool. Yeah. And then most recently, apart from that one, I had a show in McAllen at the Flying Walrus. And McAllen's crowd is always beautiful. Like they're always so energetic and so loving. And again, for a couple of the songs, had them singing back. And I thought that was really, really cool. Yeah.
I hope this really makes me want to see one of your shows.
Dude, you should come, man. It's going to be really fun. You should come tonight. I think it's going to be fun.
Just to remember if I have anything tonight.
Oh, yeah.
It's today. I don't think I have anything planned today. What time is the show?
I think I'm going on at 10.
10?
Yeah. Which tonight's going to be brutal because after the show, I'm maybe going to get like an hour or two of sleep and then I have to head back to Austin and be there by 10 in the morning. It's going to suck.
Oh, wait, I need to be available tonight. Because I need to go pick up some posters for the show. Because I need to start promoting that other show.
Gotcha, bro.
Next time.
Dude, for sure.
That or I'll book you.
No, yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, because I listen to your music already on Spotify. Like, like if your music's good enough to be listening on, like if it sounds good on Spotify, I can imagine live. Because there's certain musicians where some musicians, they sound really good recorded. Some sound better live.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a band where they sound good on both.
For sure. I definitely.
You know what makes a difference when it comes to that?
I think, well, I feel like there's a lot of things that come into play with that. Obviously, sound quality is like a big thing of whether or not like you'll get something close to what comes out on the record.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing that I love about just playing live is that as far as I do it, I take my songs, I tend to think my songs aren't so much, you know, straightforward songs as they are kind of like a foundation of what we're going to be able to do live. So when you go to a show live, I don't want you to, just go to a show and be like, all right, I've seen them before. Cool. I mean, like, nah, like I want you to come next time, because next time it's going to be very different. I think it's going to be a whole different experience. And like the songs, they might be the same songs, but they're not going to be the same every night. They're going to be different every single night. We're going to be playing different. We're going to be jamming different. We're going to be having fun in a different way. The crowd is going to be different. That's another thing. The crowd is big on, because I want to give the crowd everything I've got. And if they are able to give that back to me, I am going to give it back double.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a thing, like, I'm going to give you everything because you came here. So I'm going to give you everything that I've got. If you're able to match that and give me that back, I'm going to give it back to you more and more and more. And then we're just going to keep climbing, and we're going to be having fun. Like, so that's the beauty of having a really, really great crowd.
Yeah. And what happens when you have crowds where there's not many people? How do you keep yourself going?
Oh, dude. I mean, if there's one person
or a couple of people, because there's been shows there's some shows where it's great, you have a great audience, and then there's other shows where like maybe it's not so big, not so fun.
Absolutely.
How do you keep yourself going? Because I know some bands struggle with that, where like they feed off the energy from the crowd. So if there's not a big crowd, they kind of like die off themselves. But there's some bands where like they don't care whether there's a big audience or small audience, they give it all.
You have to. I feel like obviously, if you don't get a huge crowd, if they're not giving you like all their energy, it can be a bit discouraging at first. You can be like, oh man, like, you don't know if you're doing that great, or, I don't know if, they're not really digging it. But I feel like you can't really think about it like that. You have to kind of, if you have one person there, that means that there's one person who either came out to see you or doesn't know a thing about you. So it's like, if regardless of one thing or the other, you are here, I'm going to give you a show. I'm going to give you everything that I got. And hopefully by the end of it, you'll come out saying that was cool. Yeah. And maybe if they've seen you before, they'll come again, they'll be like, oh, wow, that was so cool. I was at a show and it was just me, but it was like they played, they gave everything to me, they gave me all their energy. I was right there. Or, it's someone that's never seen you before, and they were like, dude, it was like I was only there, or it was just me and like my friends, but dude, these fucking guys, they just brought the house down. Like, I'm gonna come to their next show, and the next show is gonna be like, there's a couple more people, and it's gonna be like a lot more fun. They're gonna see what it's like with a full, with a full audience. So I think, even if you have like a smaller audience, I don't think you should give any less than what you would give with a big audience, because I feel like at the end of the day, that person's either gonna want to see you again or they're not.
Yeah, you gotta give them a reason to come back.
Yeah.
No, I agree, because that happened to me when I was at the Wars, actually.
Oh yeah.
There was this fantastic show. It was with Urban Heat. They're kind of I know they don't like the word gothic, because there's a whole, like, when it comes to like dark wave, post punk.
Yeah.
If you call them goth, they get pissed off because that's not the right word. I understand, but basically there's this. It's kind of like electronic dark wave music. Urban Heat is like one of like the well known bands from here in the Valley, or not the Valley, in Texas in general. And I didn't know the lead singer was talking to me, because I was just at the bar just talking, and some guy came up to me like, "Man, it's kind of a slow night for a Friday, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, there's other shows going on, because there's a show at the Gremlin going on, and they had like a bunch of like heavy hitters from the local scene.
Yeah.
So not many people at the Wars." And I'm like, "Yeah, there's other shows going on." Like, "Oh man, like I wish there were some more people here." Little did I know that he was the lead singer. So yeah, we go outside to the back area and start like he puts on the show, and even though he saw like a small crowd, they still put on a great experience.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt bad, because it was like really, really, really good music. Like it's a solid performer, professional, and you don't have that crowd, but you still get to enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And because he like put on his full on show, like I want to see them again if they ever come down here or San Antonio.
I mean, I think about it like, what would I like to see?
Yeah.
You know, if I went to a bar or like, you know, I'm at a pub and there's somebody playing and they're just kind of like, man, there's no crowd here. Screw all of y'all. I'm gonna like, here's Wonderwall. And I'd be like, I mean, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I guess like, never see, you know, you don't think about it more than once. But, you know, if you go to a place,
like, you know, slow day, whatever.
If anything, I think that's like your chance to like, you know, you get a chance to kind of do a little more.
You get to talk with the audience.
Yeah, you get to. There's like a couple people there. You can be intimate with them. You can show them like maybe some new stuff that you've never played before. It's almost like you're playing an open mic. You get a blank canvas. You get to do whatever you want, and there's not. I feel like when you have a big crowd, obviously it's a lot of fun, but you definitely have the whole like big performance aspect of it. Or at least I do. I'm like, you know, I got to give them a good show. I got to like, you know, push hard. It's going to be great. It has to be great. And then when it's a smaller crowd, it's like, it's, you know, you're still making it great, right? But you have a little bit more freedom to like, I don't know, here's a new song. Here's something that I haven't played before. Let's see how it goes, you know? Or you get to talk to them a little bit. So you're like, hey, you know, do you want to hear something? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on time. I don't want to take too much of your time either because it's almost going to be 4. So
sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So then usually the last 2 questions I usually ask is, what advice would you give musicians, whether they're starting off or they're a little bit middle into their journey?
I mean, hey man, I know it is difficult for sure. It's a ton of work, but push. If this is what you love, if this is what you want to do, if there is nothing else in the world that's going to make you happier, push with everything you've got. Play as many shows as you can. Record as much music. Write as much music. And show love to everybody that shows love to you, because they are your whole career. And if you don't have them, you don't have much.
And the last question I usually give my guests is, what's your favorite part of the interview?
Dude, you do some really great questions. I feel like you're, I guess, I don't know what would be my favorite part, but I think I really enjoyed throughout, you know, answering a lot of these questions. They're really well thought out, I think. I think you really get into the person much more than, say, you know, every interview that I've been on has been great. But I think you've really gotten into like, not so much, you know, only the music of it all, but yeah, I think I've gotten to show a little bit of like who I am as a person on this.
That's the reason why I always think about that what we usually show. It's just the big secret, or not the secret, but like I always tell people the reason why that is because when it comes to music, like I'm not educated, like I don't really understand like, oh, do this course, you do this and that.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to understanding people, that's what I'm better at.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, like that's always like my thing where I'm not gonna be asking like getting super deep into like how do you do your chord structure, what's your musical theory stuff. Like I can't do that stuff.
Nah, dude, I get you.
So what you do is you use your weakness to your advantage.
Absolutely.
Or if I'm not good at music, well, let's focus on the personality.
Absolutely.
So yeah, what you said, it's very true.
It's fun, man. I loved it.
Same, and I loved having you on. Again, what really got me in was the music where, like, you know what, this, not to put down other bands, but like it didn't sound like local music production.
Thank you so much, man.
Not to like offend anybody, but like you could tell when music sounds like it could be on a radio compared to music where like, okay, this is a local band. You know, they're starting off, they're doing stuff.
I get you.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you like it.
So I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Love you guys. Peace.